guys, I am here with a story from our Miracles Do Happen book. Tonight's story is called Chester Graham, the Wonder Cat. And it is by Kelly Wilson Ms. A tiny ball of silver fur cowered in the back of the cage as his siblings scrambled to be seen. While the others cried eagerly for attention and freedom, he was reluctant to engage with humans. "Oh, look, Mommy," 5-year-old Claire, a budding gymnast, explained as the kitchen cautiously moved toward us along the catwalk. "That one is walking the balance beam, and he's looking right at us." The silver kitten held our gaze and blinked ever so slowly. The kids wanted a dog, of course, but a cat would have to do. A few days earlier, I had learned about an adorable litter awaiting adoption at a local vet's office. So on that summer morning, we made an uncharacteristically spontaneous decision. We would adopt a new pet. Our little family excitedly piled into the minivan and set off to find a new friend. We chose the shy, blinking balance beam walker, of course. Grant, age 7 at the time, named our family cat Chester. We added the middle name Graham because of his beautiful gray fur. I corralled squirmy Chester Graham in my lap as we rode to his forever home, his tiny claws kneading in my leg contentedly. The fiercely independent but cuddly kitten quickly became a cherished member of our family. Chester spent his days and nights exploring every inch of his new house and yard. His hobbies included napping in the sun, helping the kids with homework, walking along the side of the tub at bath time, riding in a toy Goshi cart, and as children pushed him, and participating in birthday parties for stuffed animals. My kids and I were smitten. Chester seemed to sense when someone needed his therapeutic assistance. Just a stroke or two of his fur would turn a bad day around. The cat was the first thing Grant and Claire asked about in the morning, the first thing they looked for when returning home from school or anywhere else, and for the first thing they thanked God for in their nightly prayers. The love we shared for our pet provided a common thread that united our young family. Life with Chester was a daily adventure, and he fit easily into our routine. But about 3 years after we adopted him, the light he brought into our lives was in danger of being extinguished. Upon our return from a road trip one day, we found that the cat who was always awaiting our arrival was not there to greet us. We looked everywhere, the garage. We always left it accessible for him for food, water, and shelter. The porch and patio, the shrubbery around the house. "Here, kitty," we called, but he was nowhere to be seen. "Chester!" we screeched with relief when we finally saw him amble toward us in a split second. All was well, because our cat was home. But the elation quickly turned to worry. He seemed exhausted, and his breathing was labored. At the vet's office the next day, the doctor scrutinized Chester's condition and reported alarming news. Fluid was collecting in his lungs at a dangerous rate. "What do you think happened?" I asked anxiously. "He could have been attacked by another animal," the doctor ventured on. "Maybe he had been hit by a car. It was hard to tell." She thought it was best to keep him overnight for observation. The children and I were disappointed the next afternoon when we visited. Chester's condition was worse. In fact, the outlook was so dire that the vet felt nothing could help him. Nothing could be done to save his life. She explained that my children and I should say our goodbyes. Our beautiful cat was going to die. In a state of desperation, we gathered in a veterinarian's office just as we had a few years before, and spent time with the sweet gray cat. We talked to him, petted him gently, hugged and kissed him. And then I signed the paperwork giving my consent to have him euthanized. But something in my spirit did not feel right. "Can you please just give him one more night to be sure?" I asked. Since Chester was on pain medicine and not hurting, the vet agreed. I tried to be strong for my children, but the tears flowed. As we turned to leave, I looked back. The frail but trusting cat held my gaze and blinked ever so slowly. Urgent prayers were sent to heaven. Our family prayed. Grant and Claire's friends prayed. My social media contacts prayed. I knew Chester was just a cat, but to us he was so much more. My children's wholehearted assurance that God heard their prayers was inspiring, but also heartbreaking, because the outcome was unclear. As a mother, I of course wanted to shield my kids from the pain they would inevitably feel if Chester died. Not yet, God, please, I prayed. The next day there was a small flicker of hope. The doctor had been surprised to discover that after our visit the day before, Chester's condition had improved. She'd never seen anything like it. Our presence seemed to have been just the medicine he needed. While that may been true, I knew divine intervention was at work. From that point on, the doctor mustered a new determination to save Chester's life. A colleague who had dealt with a similar situation agreed to guide her through a procedure that could possibly drain the fluid from Chester's lungs. But she warned us it may not work. Nothing was guaranteed. My husband and I decided to fund the ambiguous surgery and anxiously awaited the results. Only time would tell if it would be successful. We waited and prayed, but we also tried to prepare the kids for the worst. After a few setbacks, Chester Graham made a miraculous recovery. Slowly he regained energy. The glistening silver fur that had been shaved for surgery began to grow back. Soon he could run and jump and play again. His excellent balance returned. The cat who was nearly euthanized has lived. Now at 13 years old, he is as beautiful and ornery as ever. We call him Chester the Wonder Cat for good reason. He is still much adored, and he recuperates. He stays close, gives gracious rubs and head bumps, and blinks often. Ever so slowly, according to the cat experts, a slow blink is the way a cat says, "I trust you. I love you." A 5- and 7-year-olds are alone 18 and 20. They are no more rides in the toy grocery cart or birthday parties for stuffed animals. But when my children return home from near or far, they still want to see the cat immediately. Grant and Claire will always remember the beloved pet of their childhood, but more importantly, they will remember the faithfulness of their God in once saving that pet's life. My kids realize that God won't always answer prayers the way they might like, but He always hears and always answers. And when those answers are hard, they know God will walk with them through disappointment and heartache. Like a scared gray cat who was comforted and strengthened by his family's presence in a cold veterinary office, God's presence is profoundly healing, life-changing. He is with us in every situation and throughout every season of life. Amen.